Hi, and welcome to the Mindset and Performance Podcast. I'm Dries. I help athletes and business professionals with their career development. We work on a wide range of areas from psychology to strategy and execution, but we focus essentially on the mindset as it is the key to everything else. The whole idea behind this podcast is to deconstruct the habits that led people to their success, to learn from their experience and understand the psychology behind their actions and behaviors. And of course, to gain key insights that you can apply to your own life. Welcome to the Confinement series. These episodes are recorded for you from Germany in times where all the nations have taken strict measures to stop spreading the coronavirus. With this new and unique situation, many of us are challenged to live in conditions that they are not used to, which is why I'm bringing experts in different fields to give advice and intel on how you can manage your everyday, your health, physically and mentally, your relationships, your business, and your emotional well-being. So, without further ado, our next guest. So, hey, how are you?
Yeah, no, good, mate. Look, here on a beautiful sunny day in the paradise of Perth, Western Australia, looking over the blue ocean.
Yeah.
Trying to sort of contemplate life as it moves into the next phase of this crazy crisis, and looking at ways that we can help business owners survive and get through to the other side.
Right. Like, how long have you been there now for? Like, a week or more? A little more than a week, actually. Right before.
It'll be 12 days today, so almost 2 weeks.
How was it so far to go back and settle in? Are you feeling more settled now?
Look, I am feeling more settled. It is still a bit of a missing my old life and my partner and everything else up there. But in spite of, in the face of what many people are dealing with in today's crisis, I guess there's not a lot, not really much to complain about from my side.
What are you keeping yourself busy with?
Well, I seem to be the last, like I've had a really busy few days, running around from sorting out the stuff, trying to get companies sorted out in Estonia, to a friend with a crisis that his wife lost her job, and his cafe lunch bar, which is in the city in the middle of a big office building complex, which really can't pivot to do home delivery. It's just too far from the next access point, and he's looking at creative ways that he can use his space and some of his staff. And well, the only thing we've really come up for now is he able to get hold of the compounds necessary to make hand sanitizer, which has still got a huge marketplace. So he's looking for all ways that he can pivot his business, but sort of been running around kind of helping people, I guess, has been a big part of the last few days.
Is this a friend of yours or somebody that's reached out for you to consult with the topic?
This is more a friend that I've helped with on a fairly casual basis, but asked for some more help. So I have helped him in the past, and so he sort of called me again and said what else I could do, and not an easy one.
Right. Well, this is specifically why I wanted to invite you for this little conversation / interview, because I thought that there will be probably some very good insight, good intel, good input from you as an expert in what you do, and share it with people, the listeners in my audience. But how about we start actually with introducing yourself? How would you introduce yourself to people?
Okay, hi. I've had a fairly interesting career over the last 25, heading towards 30 years, in a whole range of industries. I mean, I've always been very much a proactive serial entrepreneur, so I imagined I would empathize and connect with your audience. I've been the founder and seed investor in many businesses, from a pearling operation in the Cook Islands through to a large security business that went multinational, Australia and New Zealand, through to a digital marketing company more recently, grew to 4 continents, several hundred staff and thousands of clients. Also been involved in the medical industry and still involved in molecular profiling, personalised medicine, cancer tumor profiling. So I guess I'm in many ways very much a generalist, industry agnostic, have a wide variety of skills across many continents, many countries and many sectors, have done the hard yards, tertiary education, finishing up with an MBA from the University of Western Australia 17 years ago. Have built on from that, and I guess the varied experience I have in business allows me to really go into an organisation now and look perhaps beyond what the business owner in crisis can see and offer up some interesting viewpoints, suggestions and ways forward, and at the very least offer up a certain way to respond and behave and project strength and become a really strong leader in times of crisis. And that's probably where people need to start.
Right. And how was that journey so far? How was your journey this 25 years?
Look, it's been a heck of a lot of fun. So I've listed companies in New York. So lived in New York for a while. I've lived in Los Angeles. Lived in Vancouver. Lived in Hong Kong. I lived in many different places. Moscow, doing business. So it's been geographically interesting, getting to know different marketplaces. I've had some big wins, some lows. Not everything works out. One of the things in business that I always find is, there's a lot of factors outside of your control, like this current crisis, and you can do risk mitigation strategies and scenario planning till the cows come home, but sometimes China decides to enter a marketplace and just completely decimates that market. I mean, probably little known fact, people here aren't really aware, but one of our two national iconic automotive brands, Holden, part of the General Motors Group from the US, recently announced in the last few weeks that before the virus got anywhere near into the critical phase in the media or the national consciousness, was that they'd be closing their brand. And the main reason they really closed it was they had a purchaser for their manufacturing plant in Thailand, which manufactured the Colorado, which was their biggest selling brand. And GM's made it very clear they want to get out of right-hand drive cars. So when the Great Wall came along and bought their manufacturing plant, Australia lost one of its iconic brands. So, again, if you're one of the Holden dealerships Australia-wide a few weeks ago, you didn't do anything to ask for that. It's just sometimes that happens in business.
So what was during that journey that you referred to? Was there a lot of challenges? I guess there were some challenges in that journey.
Oh, look, there's plenty of challenges. Yeah. I mean, one of the challenges was that the pearling venture I referred to, which was really exciting for a while. Then the Chinese entered that marketplace growing freshwater pearls, and pearling prices dropped about 80% over 5 years. So I've had experience in that, exactly what that's like. And, also when you start a business, and I've started several, like the digital marketing company I mentioned, I exited nearly 2 years ago. I was number one employee. And when you grow that to 4 continents and hundreds of employees and thousands of clients, there's times along that journey where there's more month at the end of the cash flow, and you've got to do that funding. So business can be a juggle, it can be a challenge. You've always got to come up with strategies, access to capital, making sure you're building a high performance team to support you. So there's a lot of things along the way, and I think in times of massive crisis like it is now, and there's other crises, you've just got to look even more broadly at options than perhaps you ever considered in the past.
How did you navigate those challenges in a personal level? I mean, what would be the number one key skill that you would say helped you? Is it, like, for example, your mindset, grit? Is it strategic thinking? I'm talking here more about the soft skills rather than the hard skills. What did you employ?
Yeah, good question. Look, I suppose, by choice and design, not by luck, but I did spend a considerable period of my life in my early 20s where I pretty much, devoured every biography, autobiography, motivational course. I did the fire walk with Anthony Robbins. I've done the landmark education stuff. I've read most biographies from most of the business leaders in the world. And I spent a lot of time trying to really distill what made super successful champions successful. And I suppose at the end of that, what was one of the common themes that always came through was tenacity, hard work, grit, making sure that you left no stone unturned. And I guess that couple of years of self-exploration really stuck with me throughout my career. And when the times really got difficult, it's when I did really double down. I certainly have never had a time in my life where I'd say I've, given up or wondered what to do. There's been times when I haven't had immediate apparent options or answers, and that's when I've just looked even harder and turned over even more stones looking for possible solutions. So I suppose one of the things that I do like to do is use visualization to imagine it once you've overcome the hurdle and what's it like on the other side. And I suggest it's probably a good thing that people can do now is just imagine themselves in 18 months' time. The vaccine's been released, a good 6 months ago. The world's completely over the medical current crisis, and the economic crisis is, really starting to disappear and dissipate. And we're seeing, light at the end of the tunnel. What does their life look like then? And focus on how they get from now with a, time machine to the 18 months time into the future. And let's hope 18 months is only 9 or 12 months. But I dare say, unfortunately, I think it could well be 18.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, this definitely been very valuable input here and advices for people. Like, my intake, what you said is, reading helped you, doing some personal work helped you. You're doing visualization, I guess, on a regular basis, projecting in the future and seeing like being in the optimism side or the positive side of things. Now, from a practical point of view, what do you think small businesses can do right now to navigate these challenging times?
Sure. Look, I think the first thing they need to do is, take a deep breath, think about where they are, think about how they'd like to position themselves, and really start working on some clear communication strategies, both internally and externally. So it's super important that they project strength and confidence to all their team members, whether they're a team of 2 or 3 people in a very small SME to hundreds or potentially thousands. It's just important that they show strong leadership and strength because people are drawn to that. People feel safe and secure by that. People are reassured by that. So my number one suggestion today is just take a deep breath and just start thinking about how should they be projecting themselves now, and then just start writing down a fairly clear communication strategy with some of the ideas that they can put down to just reassure their clients, finance partners, stakeholders, customers, and obviously employees and team, that they are on top of this, they are mindful, and in a very empathetic way, they're looking for options that they can meet this challenge and hopefully come out the other side, with a solid base intact, ready for the next phase of growth. And there will be people that are growing their business in this challenge without boring you with a list of some. I've been talking to a number of businesses that are actually having their record weeks over the last number of weeks. That's obviously on the minority, but there's other people that are pivoting their business. There's talking about how you can change your business and perhaps make hand sanitizer. There's a local pharmacy not too far from here who's doing just that, came across the ingredients as a large drum, selling it for a reasonable price, making it by the absolute truckload, and you take your own 500 ml container, and he's turning over a great deal of revenue by just being a little bit creative. He is a chemist, knows how to make it, and away he goes.
Right. Okay, so communication, leadership, and I guess also creativity, being creative about what's the service or the type of products that they're offering right now, and see if there's a twist on how it can be delivered in a different way, adjusting to the situation. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, today more than ever,
Mm.
more than just a catchword, but today it's all about adaptation. It's all about innovation and
Mm.
how to pivot from where you
Innovation.
currently.
Good word. Yeah.
Innovation is
Mm.
super important more than ever in this current crisis. In fact, I will be holding a podcast next week on the 1st, depending where your listeners are located, at 9 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time for people in Australia and the east coast of North America. And then on the Thursday, 9 p.m. on the 2nd, for the UK and European clients in the east coast of North America. So if you've got any of your listeners who'd like to find out a little bit more, I'll be going through in more detail about some of these topics, how to develop a good, clear communication strategy, some of the leadership points that I think are vital during this crisis period, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the ways in which they can draw on their current assets and team and how to innovate and pivot and meet the challenge.
And who is this training for? Like specifically, are we talking here about small businesses, large businesses, or is it like the whole wide spectrum of? Is it like
This is
business
really for,
owners?
yes, this is really for business owners and leaders. So for anyone who's currently leading an organisation as a business owner, from a small to medium enterprise up to many hundreds or even thousands of employees, it's really looking for business owners. If your turnover is anything from $1 million to $20 million, you'll gain a great deal from this podcast. If you're outside that, please feel free to tune in. But that just sort of gives you a bit of a narrow the band a little bit.
What about like self-employed, like freelancers, people who are working by their own and also finding it challenging to navigate through this? Will they find a good intel input in it?
They will find a great deal of value about
Mm.
how they communicate, lead, and project a strong brand during this crisis, and that's what it's all about. You've really got to make sure that you reinforce that you are on top of it, and you project a strong brand for your customer base, and that's how you potentially keep hold of them rather than lose them to other people who are projecting a strong brand in this current crisis.
Excellent. So we'll be looking forward to that. Myself too. How would we find you? Where is the channel where we can tune into this? You said podcast training, right? Like is it more like a podcast or a training? How would you qualify that? What would you call it?
Yeah, look, it will be 30 minutes where I'll basically be doing a presentation, and it'll be a Zoom presentation. You'll be able to find us on empiregroup.io. If you go to our website, you'll be able to log on to empiregroup.io and find all the details there and links to be able to go through. At the end of the 30 minutes training, we'll have an open Q&A session for 30 minutes where you'll be able to text or ask questions, and then I'll reply to some of those questions. So I expect it to be a very interactive affair, and perhaps we can deliver some great value on your particular situation, your particular business.
Excellent. That's very exciting. Actually, it's the 1st of April in Australia, the 2nd in Europe, early mornings.
Yes, exactly.
Great. What else can we talk about now? Yeah, I think we looked a little bit over your experience now, the challenging times and how you navigate them, the mental strength where it comes from, and the practical tips on how to survive and business continuity during these challenging times. Is there anything else you would like to add? That the listeners can.
Look, I just say, look, if you please tune in, literally in 8 days' time, 8 or 9 days' time. Love you to embrace part of the Empire Group community. It is a community that presents itself to assist leaders and business owners to excel in a vibrant, optimistic way. So tune in. We're here to support you in times of these crises. This is just about being there for our fellow brothers and sisters in business who are doing a very difficult time and seeing what we can do to support their current journey, which has obviously got more than just one or two potholes in it. So, allow us to be part of that journey with you. We'd love to help.
Excellent, Wayne. Thank you so much for joining this conversation in such a short notice. I know things can be intense, and you have made time. And definitely going to share all the links and that you mentioned. One last thing: is there a book that you would recommend for the listeners to start reading? Whether it's like a business book or personal development book, something from what you read during your 20s, early 20s that you mentioned before.
Interesting question. Something that comes to mind.
Going in the archives.
I'm digging through, and I'm sort of ticking through. I mean, look, since I suppose one of the big things that I said, about mentally tuning up. If you haven't done any work around mentally tuning up, certainly Anthony Robbins is a bit of a guru how to get a checkup from the neck up. So you can jump onto one of his books. I think wouldn't be the worst thing if it's a mental tune-up. Business books, and there's so many. It depends on what you're really looking for. But maybe from a mental side point of view, jump on an Anthony Robbins book.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much for this. What's the rest of the day looking like for you?
Mate, back into the grindstone. I have a couple of clients who are talking with me at the moment that are just in the middle of some pivots. Some of them are quite interesting. I won't spill all the beans at the moment, but some people are doing some interesting things that hopefully will allow them to optimistically and empathetically capitalize on the situation.
Okay, excellent. Well, on that note, I let you do the work. I'll get going also with my day. And yeah, thank you for making time for this conversation.
No problems. Nice talking to you, Idris. Take it easy. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye. That's it for today's conversation. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the key insights that we shared on this podcast interview. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you didn't subscribe yet, and head to my website, thebodyandmindcoach.com/blog, to find exclusive articles about various personal and professional development topics. And finally, if you are an athlete or a business professional who's looking for help to advance your career and navigate through whatever challenges that you may be facing to win your game, or if you are a corporate organization who would like to offer their team a workplace well-being workshop, or if you are a sports team who's looking at unlocking their full potential, go to my website, thebodyandmindcoach.com, scroll to the bottom and hit the contact button and reach out. Thank you and enjoy your day.